You say you want love, to be chosen, to be known. But when someone looks too long, your skin starts to burn. You flinch not from their judgment, but from their curiosity, because deep down you know they're close to finding something. Cracked. You ache for intimacy, but you've trained your face to stay still, to show nothing that can be questioned, nothing that might cost you. What if being loved means being seen? And what if being seen means being exposed? You wonder why you're lonely, but you're the one who doesn't answer the door when affection knocks. You speak in safe tones, laugh on cue, pretend to be calm, all while your soul claws at the inside of your chest, begging to breathe. You've learned to survive love by performing for it, not receiving it. And now, it no longer nourishes you, it threatens you. You chase it, then run from it. You seduce, then vanish. You cry for it, but when it comes close, you sabotage it. When did love become a threat? When did the mirror of another person become something you had to shatter? There's a reason the warmth you crave always slips through your fingers, because you don't want to be held. You want to be understood without being seen. And that is impossible. Maybe the wound didn't begin with you. Maybe the silence you carry was passed down. Generations of unmet need of love conditioned on performance. Maybe your fear isn't of love itself, but of the version of yourself that someone might see if they got too close. The child who wasn't enough, the self you had to hide. So here's the question. If someone saw the real you, all of it, and didn't turn away, what would that feel like? And why does that possibility terrify you more than being alone? The fear didn't start with your first heartbreak. It started with your first performance. When love was conditional, you learned to mold yourself to earn it, to monitor the temperature of the room like a survival skill. Before you had language for self, you already understood that parts of you were unacceptable. So you buried them, and now, years later, the graveyard inside you is full, but the applause still hasn't filled the void. Gabor speaks of this wound, how attachment and authenticity war within you, how as a child you chose love over truth because you had to. The organism adapts, not because it is flawed, but because the environment was to be seen honestly in that space would have meant rejection or punishment or emotional exile. So you became someone palatable, digestible, invisible in all the wrong places. That shape remains. Jung would call this the mask, the persona you crafted to face the world, stitched together from parental expectation, cultural scripts, and childhood fear. But beneath it, the shadow grows. All the parts you abandoned to stay loved. You didn't reject yourself by choice. You were trained to fragment. Now, as an adult, every genuine connection threatens to tear the mask away, exposing you to the very rejection you built your life around avoiding. Nietzsche warned us, "He who despises himself still respects himself as one who despises." That self-contempt becomes armor. A cold logic, convincing you that it's safer not to be seen than to be seen and found unworthy. So you dwell in half-truths. You flirt with intimacy, but never undress the soul. You show what you think is lovable, but not what is true. And yet, part of you knows, love that cannot reach your truth will never reach your heart. What you've mistaken for protection has become prison. You speak of craving connection, but the bars are made of your own refusal to let yourself be real. Not because you don't want to, but because once, long ago, being real meant being unloved. This isn't your fault, but it is now your inheritance. The wound is old, ancestral even, passed like a flame through generations, taught to hide their need, their tenderness, their pain. What you carry is both personal and collective, and it whispers still, don't be too much, don't be too raw, don't be seen. You've become a master of partial truths, showing just enough to pass as open, but never enough to risk being undone. In relationships, you mirror others, becoming what they want before they even ask. It makes you feel safe, it makes you feel wanted. But it also makes you feel hollow, because deep down, you know they don't really love you. They love the version you curated for survival. So love becomes a performance, not a sanctuary. You gauge every word, manage every silence. Intimacy feels like walking a tightrope with no net. Even when someone offers you real presence, your first instinct is to flinch, to back away, to question their motives. Vulnerability has never felt safe. It's felt like exposure, like danger. So you build walls made of wit, charm, intellect, and then you wonder why you always feel alone inside them. You don't trust joy, it feels unstable. You don't trust being known. It feels like a setup. And even when someone says, "I see you," your body tenses like it's under threat, because part of you believes that if they truly saw everything, the neediness, the grief, the rage, the softness, they'd walk away. So you beat them to it. You withdraw. You sabotage. You numb. You disappear into distractions. This seeps into everything. How you love, how you parent, how you dream. You sabotage opportunities that would require you to be seen on a deeper level. You stay in safe jobs, in lukewarm friendships, in controlled environments, not because they fulfill you, but because they don't challenge your defenses. Comfort becomes the coffin. Your potential is smothered by the same instinct that once protected your survival. And it's not just external. The same fear that keeps you from others keeps you from yourself. You avoid silence, because in silence, your truth speaks. You avoid introspection because it might reveal a self you've been taught to reject. And so you keep moving, keep achieving, keep pretending, hoping that if you do enough, become enough, prove enough, maybe you won't need to be seen at all. But the ache remains. It curls up beside you at night. It watches you scroll through faces and feeds. It lingers after conversations that felt polite but empty. It's the ghost of your unspoken self tapping gently on the inside of your ribs, asking, when will it be safe to come out? You don't need to become someone new. You need to remember who you were before you learned to hide, before the world taught you that love had a cost, that authenticity was dangerous, that the truth of your being was too much to carry in public. Healing doesn't begin with addition. It begins with removal. The shedding of the persona, the soft unmasking of the frightened child within. There is power in being seen, but only if you see yourself first, not the edited version, not the version shaped for approval, but the raw self beneath the armor. The one who wept quietly, the one who hungered for touch, for tenderness, for truth. Gabor reminds us that authenticity is not selfish. It is essential. Without it, every connection is a lie. Every love becomes another performance. The shift begins with one terrifying act: telling the truth, even if your voice shakes, not to the world. Not yet, but to yourself. Admit what you long for. Admit what you resent. Admit what still hurts. And then sit in that confession without trying to solve it, escape it, or silence it. This is not weakness. This is the seed of inner power. The courage to witness without flinching. You will not die from being seen. You will not collapse from being known. The pain you're carrying was never about exposure. It was about abandonment. And when you stop abandoning yourself, you begin to show others how to hold you without fear. You no longer need to test their love, manipulate their perception, or hide your soul behind smoke and mirrors. You simply exist, vulnerably, imperfectly, beautifully, and allow those who can meet you there to stay. Let your softness be your boundary. Let your truth be your shield. Not against others, but against the urge to vanish, to disappear, to betray yourself once again in pursuit of conditional affection. You are allowed to be messy. You are allowed to be too much. You are allowed to be exactly what you are and still be loved. You've spent your life trying to earn what should have been given freely: love, presence, safety. But the world taught you to perform, and you believed it. Now you're beginning to remember. Love is not something to win, it's something to allow. And that begins with allowing yourself. There is no salvation in being palatable. No freedom in being small enough to fit inside someone else's idea of who you should be. The more you contort, the more you disappear. And still, the hunger remains. Because nothing can replace the power of being loved as you are. Not as you present, not as you pretend. You will not find peace until you stop hiding. You will not be held until you stop folding yourself into someone else's hands. Love, real love, requires presence, not perfection. It asks you to stand open, to be still, to be seen, and to risk the one thing you feared all along: that who you truly are is already enough. The truth is, your fear was never of others. It was of your own reflection. Unmasked, unguarded, unashamed. But here you are now, listening in the dark, your breath slowing. You've reached the edge, not of the broadcast, but of the illusion. The illusion that you are unlovable, that you are broken, that you must hide to survive. You don't need permission to return to yourself. You only need the willingness to stay when it aches, to stay when it trembles, to stay when someone looks into your eyes and doesn't look away. Let them see you. Let you see you. And if they leave, let them go. because the real loss would be abandoning yourself again.